Number 12, Thomas Burgess. And number 13, Christopher Parsons. The coaching staff for the Great Britain men's team: Richard Owens, Paul Thompson and Ian Coates. Please can I ask you all to be upstanding for the national anthem of Great Britain.
Introducing the Turkish national team. Number 1, Fırat Karabul. Number 2, Deniz Yılmaz. Number 3, Mert Erol. Number 4, Kutay Çetikaya. Number 5, Burak Koçak. Number 6, and the team captain, Matt Brown. Number 8, Paul Goodwood. Number 9, Bilgehan Yıldız. Number 10, Akay Özkan. Number 11, Yunus Çağan. Number 12, Number 14, İbrahim Gençgün. The coaches staff of the Turkish national team, Deniz Çelikes and Kadir Gündoğdu. Thank you. Please upstand from the Turkish national anthem, please. Sırada İstiklal Marşımız.
Hello and welcome to our final game of the day, game number 207, the under 24 men's final, which is going to be between Great Britain and Turkey. For Great Britain, we've got sat out the number 7 Matthew Adams and the number 13 Christopher Parsons. Shortly we'll be joined by Lewis Salim, and we will be joining with commentary. You can also listen in Turkish if you want. There's a Turkish live stream. We've got 55 seconds till this game starts. It's promised to be a great final, with the previous meeting between these teams ending 4-2 to Turkey. The GB didn't lose to anyone else, and Turkey only lost to the Kiwis, who they beat on the way to the final.
I had my first Italian. I was confident. He was really good.
So Lewis in a second, he's just getting a bottle of water. 20 seconds until the game starts. And the GB crowd are already going until 3 seconds until the game starts. They want GB to get a gold medal today. Brilliant start there from GB, winning the strike. We're going to take it to the far side wall beneath the Turkish subspin. Turkey battled out, but Tom Pitchford is going to come in, go and push it forward, but we have had a foul. And the call's going to go against Great Britain there. Great start of Great Britain there, keeping the puck up, not letting the Turkish out-muscle them there. So it's going to take it to the far side wall underneath the GB subspin. I'm going to try and drive it down here. GB have popped it out there, but Turks are going to just come to this near side wall and flick there straight to Tom Pitchford. Easy for him to deal with. And Lewis will now join us. The Turks having a good chance to score there, but there has been an infringement.
Well, it's nice to be able to finally make it here, and it looks like Turkey just had a good attack, Hamish.
Yeah, they had a really nice drive down the far side wall and then brought it into the middle, but they fouled, so it's going to be a free puck to GB down the middle of the pool.
And Nathan Archer takes the advantage puck. Tom Pitchford waits on the surface in case anything bad particularly happens, and the flick forward, almost caught there by number 3 Mert Errol. Just a little bit of a side note, but it's extremely exciting to confirm that we have our first Turkish live stream, and Connor, who played in this exact team in Castellon the same year that I played, he is doing that over there. So if you do know Turkish and you'd like to listen to that, then please go listen. Also exciting to see, Connor was telling me, Hamish, that these Turkish people that are here, they don't actually know the team. They just found out that Turkey was playing at the World Championships, and then they were like, we're going to support our nation. Brilliant. And they were all upstanding for the national anthem. Absolutely beautiful patriotism. Just amazing what underwater hockey can do in the world of sport.
Yeah, I thought they'd managed to get a big crowd down, but that makes sense now.
Yeah,
for
even bigger than yesterday, the amount of Turkish people here in support, and they've got a good spot by one of the TVs, and they can see the big one. But anyway, back to the match as GB marching down the pool with these advantage pucks, and Nathan Archer flicks the puck forward. Turkey come away with it though down the right side wall. Tom Pitchford has to be on form here to knock the puck back, and he does, and his teammate comes back and supports him underneath the Great Britain subs area as Tom Pitchford now moves back into position. Puck's coming into the middle. There's a chance here for Turkey. Tom Pitchford up to the task of defending. He's knocked it wide and he stays on the goal line, and now a stoppage.
Yeah, GB were getting rolled there. Turkey made some quick progress, but GB just got back in time, drawing out a foul.
Really smart options there by Tom Pitchford, because he made the guy go wide, and then rather than trying to chase him and being isolated on the back wall, he just said, I'm staying here, I'm going to guard the corner of a tray. That's really intelligent play by the GB elite player.
George Life's going to turn this and flip it towards the wall.
Nathan Archer on Overwatch duty as Turkey tried to come through again, but great cutting skills by Lorna, who acknowledges there's a referee call, and means that we don't have to get too upset when Turkey starts swimming towards the goal. So the last of the games here at these World Championships, we've had some great finals so far. The under-19 women's a lot closer than most would have liked, if you were a New Zealand fan, and closer than people would have guessed, I think is the phrase I was going for. But then the first of the finals for the GB teams, the under-19 men, not just able to deliver and break down that New Zealand team, went down early, started a good fight back, but unfortunately at the end of it they were on the end of an 8-2 loss, and New Zealand kind of ran away with that. But
GB have got another free puck here, with Tom Pitchell taking it, and he's going to try and take it towards the middle of the pool. Looks like Turkey going to push it back out wide though. And Turkey have got it back. Tom's collected the puck and he's going to keep it on that wall, waiting for his team to rotate. We've had a foul. That's gloving by the Turks, and GB are going to have another free puck here. There's been quite a few free pucks here for GB in a few last minute, 2 minutes. Nice flick there from George, but it's knocked straight down by the Turks. GB have pushed it forward. Nicole's going against Turkey again, so GB are going to make even more progress down there. And Tom Pitchforth takes it in, he's going big flick forward. Turkish backline collects it. GB is still going. And it's going to be taken by Harry Thompson, who's going to drive there. Ali Atkins is on the puck in the middle of the pool. Nice bit of skill, but Turkish easily got it back.
It's really well controlled tempo by the Great Britain team. They're not being put under too much pressure when they break. They've got a tactic to break down the Turkish offense. Look, you see that player going. He was just isolated, and the two GB backs working really well. Is that Harry Thompson moving the puck forward, but there was nobody down for him. GB just subbing and getting the bodies down, and a good tackle there by the Turkish. They try and come away now. Still excellent work there.
Lovely tackle by Martin Turner.
Yeah, Martin's away. Going. Still battling away, Martin Turner. He had a few beast mode swims back in 2015. GB working really well on the drive. Their skills have got them down. The tenacity by Martin John Turner. Chances, it's driven towards a goal. GB are trying to stop it from being pushed out to the corner. The fight is on, and there's a stoppage on the surface of the pool. Hamish is out of his seat, and it's no goal.
Brilliant bit of play there from Martin Turner. Lovely drive down that far wall. No one could catch him.
GB need to be really careful here, because Turkey will have a tactic for this advantage puck. Let's see if they try to go 45 and really stretch the play with their fast swimmers. They've come really far down the pool. We've seen a really good tempo, disciplined performance thus far. If they can just keep their heads and say, right, we're not going to do anything silly, because with this far out the pool, we're just going to control the game like we did before and move the puck around, find the gaps and go through. Here's Nathan Archer battling, and this is what we were talking about. They didn't go to the centre of the pool, but down the wall they found a channel and they've swam, and in a matter of 10 seconds we've gone from GB being in Turkish territory to the exact opposite. Turkey are looking dangerous, going towards the GB goal, and Nathan Archer does a tap, tries to get the player to turn and tackle. The flick down the back wall, there's a player in the way. He moves it into the wider area, tries to get it through in an inside flick. There's a scrap on the goal line, still going. Turkey look like they've scored. We'll see if there's any signals from the referees. So just like that, as I said, Turkey came from their own defensive end all the way back. I said GB need to be really careful. They did the best that they could, and one of the things there was the fact that the Turkish just got so close, and the difference there, Martin John Turner on the end of the pool, that end, the right-handed player, no goal for gloving because the puck's on the wall. This time it's on the left side. The Turkish right-handed player gets his stick against the wall, manages to go down, get it in, 1-0 Turkey. But thrilling game so far, end-to-end stuff, Hamish.
Yeah, shame for GB that they were so close to scoring, but it was a lovely free puck by Turkey. You were absolutely right, and knew exactly what they were going to do there, and GB were punished for it.
But it just proves how vulnerable this Turkish team can be. GB just need to keep the organisation, keep discipline. They've only conceded halfway through the first half. There's a lot of hockey still left to be played. Turkey with a loose flick, but this looks like it's going to be a stoppage in favour of GB. An illegal use of the free arm against the Turkish player. He says sorry ref, and he's going to concede 3 metres of territory to the British advantage puck. under we go. And here go GB. Tom Pitchforth with a little flick forward. Driving as Nathan Archer watches out to the left, trying to watch the Turkish switch. Tom Pitchforth enters the play. It's a good little drive being put together by GB. Good flick forward by the player on the right hand side. Looks like Elliot Akins with the elbow guard. There's Tom Pitchforth with a lane to swim in. A big flick forward. No stoppages in play, and it's onto the back wall again. GB trying to drive it into the corner. Need to be careful. Don't draw the foul. Just keep battling away. The puck comes out. The flick. It's gone to the wrong player, and now a stoppage. I don't think this is going to be a goal unless it's given as a penalty. Nope.
Against GB there. It's a shame for GB. He was so close again, but
yeah, as it was flicked out. Okay, I'm just going to go fix the Turkish commentary, but you see the referee says it was controlled with a palm, and then off we go.
And Turkey have taken the free puck. Looks a good progress, but Tom Pitchforth has got it now. He's staying down.
And then the screen will go black, and then the screen will go probably multicoloured.
Nathan Archer's got it.
And I just need to literally change a couple of settings. You know what, it's the last game, not that bothered, let's get back to the I think it's when you got excited at the goal, if you talk too loudly.
So you got a good chance to score here. Making some good progress. GB need players down. They haven't managed. It's going to be 2-0 to Turkey. GB again having a great attack, but Turkey quickly coming all the way to the other end. Some great support now coming from the GB supporters. They will not stop chanting until this game is over. Nice tackle by Nathan Archer there. Turkish being very loud. GB have got free puck now. Now we're being rejoined by Lewis now on a GB free puck from their own half. Nathan Archer's taken. He's flicked through the middle.
Play continuing through in the neutral third, and Turkey going to go down here, number 1 for 1 minute, I believe. As Harry Thompson is going to get back in the water. It's a classic Aussie 6-on-5 switcheroo. Just as his time penalty will start, Harry Thompson's going to get in, and a chance for GB to get a goal back here. But I think we're going to have a timeout first.
Yeah, so Turkey are going to use the timeout here when they're down to 5.
Wise call there by the Turkish. If you were listening to our first game of the day of the under-19 men, I'm delighted to say that Martin Robert Hall, the sports mentality coach for Great Britain, will be coming down to join us at half-time. So in just 3 minutes' time, he'll be on his way. I can see him in the crowd, sat amongst the Turkish. He is very much a GB fan, though. He's in the GB white polo shirt, and he is silent as the Turkish flags begin waving.
Yeah, he needs to chant louder, I think.
He's a very calm, very poised man. He had like excellent etiquette on the commentary of just sort of being chill and talking and relaxing. And it was just funny because he said what the GB under-19 men had to do as soon as they began in the second half, and sure enough, they did it. And it was, he's been there to give them the guidance for those exact situations. And unfortunately, the match was a little bit beyond them. It was a tall task, but they started climbing the mountain. They got 2 steps of the way up when it was 5, but then New Zealand just regrouped and got the hammer blows. As Lyndon Beddoe tries to force it forward. There's Harry Thompson. He's back into the pool. GB will be glad to see him, especially if he can get his sticks to twist and turn through the Turkish players. He's on the puck now, and you could say one of the up-and-coming stars of GB, but he's already in that men's elite team. He's still down, Harry Thompson, still fighting as Elliot Akins goes up and recycles through. George Live, the Manchester player, trying to move through the play. the GB backline being asked an awful lot of questions, but so far they've delivered in the most part. It's only when Turkey have turned them over through rolling drives that they've been unable to do so. A loose flick there, doesn't manage to get to Lyndon Bedo. And here goes GB. But Turkey have lost it. Sorry, GB have lost it to Turkey, and George Live comes away with a puck. 2 minutes to go, Hamish.
Yeah, it's been a nice little attack here by Turkey. GB is managing to deal with it now, but they're just getting pushed back and back and back. Well, they've had an infringement. And the call's going to go against Turkey again for obstruction.
So both these teams fighting for a right to have a national anthem played, as 3 of those spots will be taken up by the New Zealand national anthem. 6 times we'll have heard that by the end of the day. GB obviously seeking the prize of gold medals and names on the trophy, something that this GB team has never done throughout the tournament's history.
It doesn't look like GB are going to get a goal unless they can go all the way back up, because they're just getting pushed back by Turkey. Turkey's a very good game to stop GB's.
Dan Paslow did well there to just knock that down cleanly and take it to the corner. There's a minute for GB to survive. I think it's all hands on deck in defence, and you know, if you get that swimmer like Lyndon Bedo free to try and stretch the play in the last 30 seconds, but you can just see at the top of your screen Mert Erol, the number 3, the elite player, who is just waiting in position to stop any breakout. But Turkey have another chance to go in 3-0. And referees both in agreement in illegal advancement of the puck. So GB get a bit of respite. There's going to be 30 seconds left. I think GB just have to play safe, hold on to the puck here, and then they can look to try and regather in the second half.
They managed to score twice against them in the round robin, so we know they can score against them.
I thought it was 2-1 to Turkey.
4-2.
4-2.
Just 2-1 for GB against New Zealand.
Yeah, I remember that one. So as we enter the last couple of seconds, time dwindles down and we go to half-time. The score: Great Britain 0, Turkey 2. And very shortly indeed we will be joined by Martin Hall. Sorry about the picture that you were just getting there. I don't know why that was shuddering. Have to obviously sort that out in time for the closing ceremony. And sorry, Hamish, but I'm going to have to put you out your seat for 2 or 3 minutes, even though I've been the one who's, you know, been up and down out of my seat all day, and you've done an excellent job covering this final.
Just before I leave, I'd like to give a massive shout out to the GB U24 girls in the crowd, Princess Sisters. They will never stop cheering this boys' team on.
Oh, I should have put the meme up. Right, well, it's very nice. As promised, it's nice to be joined once again by Martin Hall. Good afternoon once again, Martin.
Hi Lewis, how are you?
So, obviously a very different situation to what we saw with the under-19 men's game. What do you look at here in terms of the preparation? Because this game's still very much in the balance.
Well, I think what you've got, you can see both teams just head-to-head, very physical. I think now what's probably important for Team GB at half-time is just remaining calm and keeping belief, because as you can see, the puck could have gone in the goal at either end a couple of times, and it just so happened that you couldn't even see what was going on, really, but it just forced its way in for Turkey, and the game's in the balance, so I think it's just remaining calm, sticking with the game plan and executing.
We spoke last time about sort of refereeing decisions going against you in terms of you had goals taken away, given to the other team by the referees. We see a bit of an opposite of that in this game, as the players look to have put the puck in the goal twice, but then being pulled back for fouls and taking away goals. Is that the same situation mentally? You've just got to forget that one moment and then rebuild, stick to themselves? Because we've also seen GB, once they scored that first goal that was disallowed, Turkey came right through the team and then they scored. How hard is that to deal with as a player?
Very hard, but I think in that moment, what you have to do is you have to try and use it. It's disappointment. It's emotion. You just have to use it as fuel, but not let it overspill into anger and frustration, because then obviously you're just going to overstretch yourself and probably try and do things that you wouldn't normally do. So that's why I emphasised about, you know, staying calm. It's really important, sticking with the game plan, just having the belief that you'll get the opportunities, you'll get the decisions, but those things are outside of your control. Like
we said with the under-19 men, it's very clear, because obviously you got the ability to see that obviously they took off that strike and then they got a very early goal in the second half of the under-19 men. You watched as soon as they conceded that first goal and the second goal, it was GB attacking down the other end. It was, you know, they had that calmness, they had that resolve. And I think it's a massive thank you from me and our federation, the Great Britain Underwater Hockey and the British Octopus Association, for all the work that you've done with us over the last 2 years, because it has helped us to get to this high level. And obviously there's a lot of people in the crowd that won't hear this, but I think they're all very grateful for just how much fight is in these boys and the way that they're now able to compose themselves. But I can see Hamish is itching to get back on the mic, Martin, and I'll let you go back to watch this thrilling match. Thank you very much. If you'd like to come back at full time to digest the match, you're more than welcome, but go enjoy yourself.
And we're back, and it looks like we've got a Turkish free puck here. Turkey going to take this to the wall. Dan Parslow is going to try and get it out. He's got support from Tom Pitchforth and Harry Thompson. Nice tackle there from Tom Bob. There's been a call for foul. That's going to be in favour of GB, but Harry Thompson is going to receive a warning for barging.
Yes, Harry has that sometimes, that, you know, he'll get fouled and then he'll throw his body around just a little bit, and he does it very well. He was taught by the expert of throwing your body around, Phil Thompson, the coach, the assistant coach to Richard Adams. As Turkey take it from one side to the other, GB attacking underneath the Turkish subs bin, looking to try and find the space, but Turkey just guarding the offside. And look how far back that Turkish defender's sitting. They know that they just have to defend a 2-goal lead for another 13 minutes to win this World Championships for a third time in a row.
It's a very impressive feat, that. Turkey driving here, and it looks like GB have not got the numbers down. Going into the corner now. Very good opportunity for Turkey to get a third here.
GB do well to keep it and contain it out wide. GB now trying to move down the right hand side. The puck on the wall and just trying to stop it. Every time they come off the wall, there's a Turkish player waiting there just to hit it with a stick. And we've got a lovely stoppage in play. And the Turkish player, for a stick foul, I think he had 2 stick fouls in succession, and advantage will be to GB. It's still, you know, the GB team don't have to panic too soon. They've got a beautiful opportunity here to try and move down the pool, whilst the captain, Mert Doga, is out of the pool. But the Turkish still really strong with 5, and if the game stops, then it'll be, you know, Turkey will be happy because the clock will run down for the guy in the penalty area. Lovely attempted windmill, but he brings it back out the other side. Still trying to twist and turn. Great little stint down on the floor by the Turkish player as the puck bobbles up off 2 sticks. The flick forward now. What a stint by that individual. The flick to the inside. Blocked. Still working. GB trying to figure out just when to stay down, when to go up, and a nice initial stop. Can he turn it out? See, every time they turn, just one of the Turkish players is there waiting. They're not doing, they're not doing a hurried defence for Turkish to do offensive pressure. They're just saying, right, you're facing backwards. When you turn forwards, I'll have you. The flick trying to go through. Tangle of legs. The flick onto the goal. Looks like this is going to be cleared. Is there anything from the water? No. Great defence by Great Britain not to draw the foul, but then a loose puck picked up by Turkey. They have a chance. Well done, Elliot Atkins, to stay down and fight for his team to get the puck back. Chance for GB. Can they break it into the centre? There's Lyndon Beddoe trying to get on the other side of a Turkish player. Turkish were so strong when they move it, and 2 GB boys couldn't get the puck off him then. Unless this is we'll see about this stoppage. If this is against Turkey, there could be a player going out. He is. He's going for 2 minutes.
Is that the number 8 again? The captain?
And Harry Thompson signals, you know, penalty goal maybe. And that wouldn't have been such a bad shout. Didn't look like there was anybody between him and the goal. And the referees, as we always say, in a better position to view things than us.
GB attacking here. Looks like Turkey have got the puck back now. They're coming to this end. And some new GB subs bin now.
Do you want to go find Gary? I mean, we should. I think they're in getting ready, but just tell them to put the other camera in.
And Turkey doing a fantastic job of rolling the GB attacks, aren't they? It's going to be a free puck for. It's going to be a free puck here, and Turkey are going to take this and probably take it straight to the wall. Right underneath the GB stuff, and GB need to find something soon. With only 10 minutes of this game left. We've had an infringement. The call's going to go against Turkey. And the Turkish number 6 has still got a minute left on his timeout. And we're going to take this. And GB and trying to switch it to this far wall. He's still going. Lovely flick into the middle there.
GB trying to make the most of a power play here as the clock ticks under 10 minutes to go. We're approaching the 9-minute mark in the match. 20 minutes have been played, but we have a stoppage just before the captain of Turkey enters the water. He tells his guys to be calm, and Turkey see somebody sent to the sin bin once again.
But their player will be getting back in as soon as this player restarts. So
yeah, so it starts 6-on-4, but importantly that player starts behind the play. If GB can find the gap and go forward like they have done, there's support on the other side. They need to keep it central, but they can't quite manage it. They couldn't quite manage it there, the GB players, and
if not, so he's won it here.
Chance for GB if they can bring it down the back, but Turkey trying to come away. Good stop by the GB backman. An underbody flick forward, but it was just a hurried pass. There was nobody on the other side. Needed to take more time and care there.
Not sure if he realised how far away from the goal he was.
Yeah, maybe not. Turkey trying to go away down the side. Stoppage in play.
We've got 8 minutes now to score 2 goals to get back into this game.
8 minutes, 2 goals. That's a far easier task than the under-19 men had to do.
It's going to be an extremely hard task against this Turkish side.
Oh yes, they're so physical, and I mean physical in a good way. As I say, they just wait for you, and then when they see the puck, they hit it as hard as they can, and it's been really effective. It's only recently they've really been exposed to these fouls accounting for them. As GB tried to get the puck over the top to Lyndon Beddoe, he's a little slow coming down after going up to the surface for a breath.
Interestingly, when we're doing the stats, I think Turkey had 123 minutes on the sin bin before this game.
Sometimes though, you know, you take one for the team and you can, you know, if you end up getting sent out for your team, it allows you to stop, it allows you to regroup, and if this Turkish team knows at this level they can defend with just 5 players and even score with 5 players as they have on some occasions, as the captain Mert Dogan, who has re-entered the play, starts to get things going for Turkey. So we get ready to go once again. Let's see how good my camera operation is with 2 hands.
GB supporters are not shutting up. They believe the boys can get back into this game still.
I think a lot of people believe they still can. This group of boys, you know, making the final was a massive achievement. The surprise was New Zealand winning the puck, and now a 3rd goal for Turkey, which puts the match in a very difficult position for them, as GB now required to score 3 goals.
3 goals in 6 minutes. I think Richard Adams will use his timeout soon.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in. I don't know if he can afford to use it now. I think he's got to tell his boys to push, make them push, and then if there's a goal scored, try and preserve some time. That's probably what's going through Richard's head. Let's see what GB can do in response to going down to a third goal. GB set on their way in retaining the trophy that they've had since 2015. Turkey get an advantage after GB stopped the puck illegally. Here we go, so play is just in the neutral third. GB struggling to move it forward past this Turkish defence. I think this would have been a very different game if that first goal by GB had been awarded. Sadly, on 2 occasions, GB missing out on those goals, as we picked up what was said by Martin Robert Hall. GB with a chance to come away, but there's the Turkish defender. There is a player on the other side. Can GB hit him? No. The skill that Turkey didn't have way back in 2013 at Ega is now incredible. The way they can just twist and turn as they flick the puck at George Live, and play comes out into the corner. The flick into the centre by Dan Parslow, a risky thing to do even though the players were there. Turkey have a chance, but it's a great save there by Tom Burgess, and the puck comes through. George Live takes it upon himself to stop it. Tom Pitchforth goes up, comes down with the puck and takes it to the corner, or at least attempts to. The play stops. Down comes Rupert Ironside-Smith, protecting the puck with his body. Illegal use of the body, as he says. I'm not going to advance anywhere, but I'm going to look to see if and when I can go. Now Rupert Ironside-Smith moves down the line. The flick at Nathan Archer. Safe flick into the centre. Chance for George Live to try and save it. He's played exceptional this tournament, George Live, but on this occasion unable to stop the puck from going into the back of the tin. And it looks like it's going to be a 4th goal to Canada, is it?
Turkey, you mean, not Canada.
Yeah, sorry, I was looking at the Canadian ref.
Yeah.
I mean, I was due a mistake eventually.
Yeah. They're going to ref time out here, so it could not be a goal here. Maybe or
interesting,
because sent out.
Yeah, unless one of them was playing advantage and then there was a foul on George Live. I don't quite know what the
Turk's been sent out. I'm not quite sure. I think we're getting a free puck to GB here for unsportsmanlike conduct.
Interesting. So let's see how long. Just 2 minutes for Akin Ochan.
And 3 minutes to GB to get 3 goals, which is 3 goals off the strike pretty much.
Yeah, it's fine. Just get Lyndon Beddoe to do it.
Yeah.
Lyndon Beddoe, then Rupert, then Lyndon again. I mean, Tom's proved he can take on half a team by himself, but we can't stress enough. This is an exceptional team of young men. They won the silver medal in Hobart, and they're moving down the pool really nicely here. Turkey, though, just able to get that one player back to stop the GB attack. Does so well to just hold up the puck and wait for his team. So the clock will stop in the last 2 minutes, don't forget. And the Turkey going to go down to 4 here. Now Richard uses his timeout to try and keep some time on the clock. Score here and then 2 goals in 2 minutes.
I think GB are going to try and get their big boys in here now. Try and get at least a goal back.
Yeah, it's do or die time by GB. They have to throw everything they have at the Turkish and more.
So for GB, we're going to have George Live, Tom Pitchforth, Lyndon Beddoe, Harry Thompson, Dan Parslow, and I think it's Martin Turner as well as the 6 in the pool.
Chance for GB.
GB getting down early.
Quick take by Tom Pitcher, a great push off the wall by the Turkish defender. Now the wall battle. GB with the stick against the wall, Turkey with the glove. Can Turkey defend this cleanly? There's a ref on the surface signalling for a stop. Penalty. Penalty shot. An excellent result for GB. An excellent result for Great Britain. The penalty shot, I must remind you, stops the clock and the clock will not restart until all the players are back on the other side. So,
they'll be out for the rest of the game. They'll play 2 for 5 minutes.
So there's another player out for 1 minute. So GB have to score this penalty, score after a minute, and then score after another minute.
Tom Pitchforth takes this. He's going to flick it towards Harry Thompson. He's going to put it straight in.
Yeah, they got it past the vice captain there, Mert Errol. Unlucky there, Mert. So now a chance with 2 minutes remaining on the clock. It's a 2-minute stop clock, so every time the clock stops,
GB going to have to be very quick here.
Yeah, GB have to literally throw everything and the kitchen sink at the Turkish here. Turkey have a timeout left, but I don't think they're going to use it, because for every time GB score now, the clock continues. GB, what have they got off the strike? There's 3 Turkish defenders. They have to go all the way down the other end of the pool. Look how far back that defender's being. GB needs to try and get a second here. He's going to go to the corner. GB can't afford to foul here. The clock would stop, but Turkey, every time they get a foul, are probably going to bring it back. There's 40 seconds till Turkey are back up to 4. They need to move the puck down the back wall. These Turkish players need to breathe eventually. They can't do a free rotation when there's only 3 players in the water. But let's see. The puck spat through, but the GB player's not there. There's a stoppage. Clock stops on 90 seconds. Obstruction against GB. The worst thing they could have done in that situation.
They had to get that in now. It's going to be a ref timeout now.
Ooh. Let's see just what's impacted here. Because, come on, surface camera, pan.
It's going to get very interesting. Can get another penalty shot for GB. That'll be brilliant for them.
So yeah, we're just going to wait and see what happens here. The referee is just discussing possibly a first foul and a second foul. So you never know. Maybe another penalty shot for GB. That would be the best case scenario. Clock stops. Tom Pitchforth told to just go away. Captains aren't allowed to listen in to referee discussions. They can be invited over if they need to explain something. So it's going to be interesting what the call is coming out of this, Hamish. I think they're saying that we're with Mr. Fuster and it's going to be against GB. Yeah, as I said, possibly the worst thing that could have happened in the match. The best result would have been a penalty. A good result would have been an advantage puck. So 30 seconds until Akin Özkan can be in. But let's see, because GB start 3 meters away. They're going to stick this on the wall or take it to their back corner. Oh, they try and draw GB offside. Don't think it worked. No referees playing an advantage. GB have to score. If they can score within the next 20 seconds, Akin Özkan cannot get back in the water until after the strike. GB, it's now or never. They have to move the puck into the centre unless there's another penalty. Come on, GB. Can you do it? Can you move it down the wall? Every encounter that GB seem to have with Turkey ends with drama. We've got more here. Advantage to Great Britain. Obstruction. And Turkey go down to 2. Turkey go down to 2.
We're back up to 4. Back up to 3 in 3 seconds. So GB have to score quick here.
Yeah, if GB can score 2 or 3 seconds off the... If GB can score 2 seconds or 3 seconds after this advantage puck, the Turkish player cannot get back in. Wrong camera, Hamish. There we go. But now...
Was it changed to being against GB and Harry Thompson?
Referee timeout. The clock stopped anyway, so we're not wasting any time.
Yeah, Harry Thompson sat on the side as well.
Oh no, they're saying that the original foul was for breaking. Yeah, they're saying the original foul was for breaking against GB, which is why they've got pushed back. I never saw an advantage, but I'm not going to say that there wasn't one, because I was expecting it. It did look like they jumped offside, and GB had to expect that. I know they had to throw everything at the Turkish in this situation, but, you know, jumping offside, drawing a foul, it effectively means Turkey have an advantage puck and they kill the game. But the referees would have played advantage in the corner because the advantage for the Turkish is time running off the clock. So it is smart refereeing by our officials in this match. Sadly, though, the refereeing decision going against GB in this instant as the Turkish timeout dwindles down. So likelihood is we're going to get 6-on-3 hockey again.
5-3.
So we're going to go from up to 4. Say they bring it over in frustration as Dan Pazzo tries to win back the puck. Stoppage on the side. Time running down as Nathan Archer puts the puck forward. Turkey are back up to 4.
It's 5v4 now with 44 seconds left.
Sadly now as we get close to the 30-second mark, anything now for GB will be a consolation. I think the match is won by Turkey. Unless there is a penalty shot with 30 seconds to go. You can cross your fingers and your toes. But unless there's a penalty shot, I don't think there's going to be a chance for GB here. Tom Pitchforth with the puck, with the take, a big flick forward. Come on, ref, give a penalty. Give a penalty, give GB a chance. Is there a stoppage? Yes, a stoppage on the surface. Give a penalty. Oh, we're looking at GB. It's going to be against GB, number 7. Out. Advantage Turkey.
It's not number 7 as he's still on the side. That's Matthew Adams.
Yeah.
So it's number 11, Nathan Archer.
So the desperation costing GB there. A shame that they couldn't capitalise. Turkey will go into defence mode. 20 seconds left on the clock. And sadly, Hamish, I think it's been game over for about 2 minutes.
I'm absolutely gutted for the boys there, but I'm so proud of them and what they've achieved. Most of them still can play in 2 years' time through a young team.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there was a bit of a surprise to a certain point when they got this far in the tournament, as in not to get into the final, but getting the way they did, topping the group, beating New Zealand. I'm sure they would have preferred to have played New Zealand in this final, but it has been a good match against Turkey. They had their chances early on, sadly unable to convert, as Tom Pitchforth goes, trying to get that consolation, but the game ends. Turkey once, twice, 3 times champions of the world in the under-24 men's division. A really well-disciplined display by the Turkish. They made sure they didn't foul when they could, when they were under pressure. GB lapses in concentration and fighting hard to try and get the goal, so much so they got pushed away.
Brilliant game played by Turkey. They absolutely rolled GB several times and they got the goals. Absolutely well deserved.
GB responded in the way that they were trained to do and with every best possibility, but sadly today it wasn't enough. I'm sure that Hamish and I would like to continue on and discuss with, talk about the game more, but we have to get set up for a closing ceremony. I'll just quickly go through and thank all our sponsors one more time. We've got Euro Options, Talk, Bentfish Design, Howarth Timber and Builder Supplies, Sheffield International Venues, the British Octopus Association, the Nottingham Building Society, MyZone, Kuhnel Graphics, Naswat, the Teachers Union, SIG, Peppersmith, Navision, Booker, Matro, and we have to also give a little bit of a shout out to Sight and Sound, who provided us with some very important audio-visual gear. So thank you very much for tuning in. We have to go now and end our coverage as we prepare for the World Championships closing ceremony. Thank you and goodbye. Anything else from you, Hamish?
It's been a pleasure commentating with you, Lewis. I'm so proud of the boys. We'll see what they can do in 2 years' time.